Right after beating TCU by 100 points and leading Georgia to their second consecutive national championship and clearly putting the Bulldogs on the map as the #1 program in the country, an ESPN sideline reporter went up to Kirby Smart after that game and asked him this question. She said, "Coach, how has Georgia become one of the benchmark programs in college football?" And this is right after they won their second consecutive title, right? Everything is great. Georgia's at the top of the mountain. And Kirby Smart said this. He said, "Hard work. We don't run from work. Our kids don't run from work. As long as you don't have entitlement in your program, you've got a shot. Entitlement is the enemy of hard work. It's the delusion of expectation without effort." That is how Kirby Smart has run his program. That is why or the biggest reason why he has turned Georgia into the powerhouse that everyone knew they could be, right? Mark Richt got them close. In fact, they came close to winning the national championship multiple times, right? They were the second best team in the country in 2012. In 2002, they were the third best team in the country. In 2007, you could make the argument they were the third best team in the country. But it wasn't like this. It wasn't consistently at the top pushing for national championships. And that's where Georgia's at right now. Every single year, as long as Kirby Smart is running the show in Athens, they are going to be one of the top teams across the country and in contention for a national championship. And it's because of the mentality that he has brought into this program. It's how he runs the program. He said in the past, he wants to build this team with composure and physicality. Play with discipline, right? Don't talk a ton, right, with your mouth. Talk with your play. Tell the opponents, look at the scoreboard, right? They want to crush teams over and over and over. And normally they do. I've said it in the past. Most of the games during the regular season, I'm writing my story at the half, right? I'm trying to start out how it's going because Georgia has won the game by now, right? Unless they're playing, occasionally Missouri or, of course, Alabama. That game is never over until it is over. But for the most part, Georgia goes out and they do what they need to do, and they crush their opponents. They run through them. They play great defense. They don't turn the ball over. And it's because of the work ethic and what they do at practice. And it starts with the coaches, right? Nobody works harder than Kirby Smart, from what I've gathered, right? And I know coaches across the country, across the SEC, and there's a reason why he helped lead that Alabama program, right? He learned from Nick Saban. Nick Saban is the best coach of all time. And he had that mindset too, right? If you go to Alabama, when Nick and Kirby were there, even when Nick was there and Kirby was on it at Georgia, you have to work hard. And Kirby brought that over to Georgia. And players say it all the time. Tate Ratledge, he talked about, telling recruits, hey, Georgia's great, but if you don't want to work, you don't want to compete, this is not the place for you, okay? Winning is fun, but practice isn't always fun. Only for the crazy guys that love practice. That's the only time practice is fun. They make it uncomfortable. I say they, I'm talking about the coaches. They make it uncomfortable for these kids because you have to push through that, right? If you're comfortable or you're entitled, you're not going to win anywhere. And that's what this program needed. And I'm not trying to dog on Mark Richt or anything like that because he did put some good teams out there. But he didn't recruit at an elite level. They recruited the quarterback position for the most part really well, and the skill positions and the running backs. But they were not relentless on the recruiting trail the way Nick Saban and his staff is, the way Kirby and his staff now are, right? It starts with the coaches. Kirby Smart works as hard as anyone, and he holds his coaches and his staff to a high standard as well. Everyone talks about the standard that he puts on the players, but these coaches have to work constantly. I don't know if there is a harder working staff than the one at Georgia, because if you don't recruit, if you don't work your butt off, you can't work for Kirby Smart, and you can't play for Kirby Smart. And it takes all that. And again, he talks about connection. He wants the players to get to know each other, to feel comfortable. Talks about their why. Why do you play? Who do you play for? What's your background? How far have you come? The obstacles that you've had to go through to get to this point where you are a football player at the University of Georgia, one of the toughest places to earn a scholarship at. It takes a certain person and a certain type of player to play at Georgia. And a lot of kids think they can get to Georgia and play. And some of them think they could play early, and when they don't, and they see how hard practice is, and that it's not fun to play for that program and for these coaches that, again, have an incredible level of expectations for all their guys, right? They recruited them for a reason, because they know they're really good. So they're going to push those guys to be the player they thought they could be out of high school. And some guys just can't take it. So for some, that's why they transfer, right? Playing at Georgia, practicing at Georgia, it's too tough. Others transfer because they're not seeing the field as early as they thought, right? But at the end of the day, it's all about winning and development. That's why kids go to Georgia, and that's their pitch, right? Kirby tells these kids and their families, hey, we can make you a better football player, which is a fact. And you're also going to be in a position to win championships. You're going to get a great degree, all that, check, check, check. But again, if you don't work hard and you don't want to compete and give it your best every day, it's not going to work. And that's how they have built a powerhouse. That's why they are the #1 program in the country right now. And that's how you win back-to-back championships. And they almost won a third. They lost the wrong game, and they're going to learn from that. And I can tell you right now, all the players who were on the team last year who have come back, that's on their mind, right? Is they can't lose the wrong game this year again. Then they've got a chance to prove it, and we're going to see in fall practice. I know these players are ready to get there. They are ready for fall camp. They are ready to start because they know how good they are. When you have a guy like Carson Beck, who is probably hungrier than anyone to win a championship, as good as he was last year, obviously they came short, but he wants that title. And there's a lot of guys who came back on the defensive line, this group on offense. They want to leave with one more national championship. And again, that's how Georgia became the benchmark program, is because their work ethic, not only with the coaches, but the players as well. Listen, they got a lot of 5 stars on the roster, and this is a 5-star product. If you haven't got your Bulldog today, get it now so you have it for when the football season comes around. It's going to be here before you know it. Don't miss out on the discount. Promo code DAWGPOST, DAWGPOST. All the information is in the description below in this video. You're not going to find anything like this on the market. It's the #1 Georgia Bulldog statue out there, and this is the only place where you can get a discount. So get it today because they are beautiful, handcrafted, right? It takes a little bit to make these. Order today so you have it when the Dogs kick off against Clemson. And listen, if you're the Clemson Tigers, you better be ready. You better strap it up and bring your A game, or else it could get out of hand in Atlanta. I think Georgia's going to win the game. And we're going to talk more about this leading up to it. But, when people ask, what's specifically, how is Kirby Smart taking a really good program, which Georgia was? And when people say Georgia hasn't won anything in 40 years when they finally won one, that's crazy. That's wrong. It's incorrect. That's only something the casual fan would say, because Georgia they did win. SEC championships matter, okay? And Georgia won multiple under Mark Richt, and they had very, very good teams. But that staff didn't have that same relentless work ethic that Kirby Smart and his staff had, right? In the summer days when it's hot, they were going to the Ramsey Center, right? Remember all the stories of them jumping off the high dive, right? The players got a break. In Tuscaloosa, they didn't get a break. They were out there working hard, and that's why they were a dynasty. That's why they were a powerhouse. Kirby Smart saw that firsthand. He was a big part of that dynasty that they had and the run that Alabama started with and continued, right? Kirby Smart was a big part of that. He brought that mentality, that winning DNA, that relentless effort to Georgia. So not only does he work hard, but he expects it out of his staff. He expects it out of his players. And that's what you have to do if you want to win back-to-back championships. It starts on the recruiting trail, right? Relentless. They go and, for the most part, they get their guys. They can't get all of them, especially now with NIL and playing time and a lot of programs kind of, back on the rise doing what they should be doing. So Georgia's not going to get everyone. They're going to occasionally miss on a guy or two, depending on the position, of course, but they're not going to be outworked. And they've proven that time and time again on the recruiting trail, on the practice field, on the field on Saturdays. This is as good a program as there is out there right now, and it's because Kirby Smart built it from day one. That was his vision, to bring that mindset, that hardworking, competitive practice type of environment, and that culture of, hey, it's not always fun to play here, but we're going to win, and winning is fun, and you're going to be a better football player. And guys get better at Georgia. There's no doubt about it. Even when they transfer, they are a better player leaving Georgia than when they got there. And that's the truth, right? As I try to figure out my words. But listen, that is why Kirby Smart has built a powerhouse, and that's what it is right now. We'll see if they can win another one this year. I think they've got a good shot. Make sure you are stay tuned to Dog Post for all the Georgia Bulldog team and recruiting news. Thanks for watching. Get your Bulldog today. Again, you can order through the website, and it's all in the description below in this video. So make sure you do that. Really appreciate it, and I'll see you over on the website.